Hi, my name is Daniela and I'm in 6th grade and I go to Riverside Elementary. And my question is, why did George Washington have slaves if he was against slavery?
General Washington had slaves even though he was opposed to slavery because he did not create the institution of slavery itself. It was already here in America when he was born into it. It was considered a birthright, something that you are supposed to get just for being here. General Washington was made a slave owner at a very early age. When his father died and he was 11 years old, I believe he inherited 10 slaves. Can you imagine being 11 years old and having to take care of 10 other human beings and your mother and your sisters and your brothers? He was a man of the household, so to speak. And that's an awful lot of responsibility for a little person. I mean, wouldn't you be overwhelmed with that kind of responsibility? So General Washington did everything that he was supposed to do the way that he was expected to do it. He made sure that the slaves had everything that they needed and they didn't break any laws. But of course, the way that he acted when he was 10 and 11 years old was much different than the ways that he acted when he was in his 30s and his 40s. Fast forward to when he's in the 60s, after the presidencies and the wars for independence had been fought. He had an opportunity to come in contact with a lot of people during that time period, people like Marquis de Lafayette, that spoke often about abolishing slavery, getting rid of slavery. George Washington is a very law-abiding person. He believes in respecting the laws that govern everybody. So when he came to the later years of his life, and he realized that people of color were the same as everybody else, that they could take care of themselves and they were responsible, they could be law-abiding citizens and that they could read and they could write if given the opportunity, he decided to do a very kind thing, which is an act of manumission. Manumission means an act of kindness or atonement. It is legally giving your slaves the right to become free people here in this country. And that's what General Washington did. He wrote into his will that upon his death and upon the death of his wife, he would give freedom to all of the slaves that he held in possession. And that's how General Washington's views about slavery did change.